cloud. We'll do that. I'm happy to have someone else do the recap.
Yeah, Kevin, if you want to kind of
Your
been thrown to
version
the
would be
wolves,
bad.
like I just got a massive lore dump. Let me see if I can make sense of it. You can go ahead if you want to.
Oh man, this is a lot of pressure. All right, we'll give it a shot. I'm feeling the pressure now. All right, so went from Mountain Ridge towards the keep, the Nilfgaardian keep. We had departed from Willibug. He took the boar meat to make piggy soup with his partner. And he told us as we were departing that the shiny man, which we understand to be the Inquisitor.
The governor of Nilfgaard. The Nilfgaardian governor.
The Nilfgaardian governor. Okay.
The guy in the barracks in charge.
Got it. He told us that he made a deal with the guy in charge so that he could be a part of normal society, and that the city of Ashburg was full of naughty children, which is why this is all happening. After that encounter, we proceeded to try and go towards the keep, but encountered a dragon. The dragon is clearly not from this land. Combat ensued. The dragon thought that it was going to be an easy meal. We were clearly outmatched in size, in stature, in preparedness for the encounter. The dragon was very, very scary. But Henrik was able to scrounge up with a barrel bomb, kind of just in a panic, throw that. It scared the dragon. There wasn't really damage, but it was enough to get the dragon to flee.
There was massive damage. It's just that was also a massive dragon. Like
right.
You guys got it down to like it didn't even take off like a quarter of its hit points. And it just ran away because it was looking for an easy meal.
All right. I'll update my notes there. At this point, the Inquisitor has kind of given us to the ability to say, hey, the Inquisitor sent me and we're going to act as a proxy. We've gone to the keep, had some varying levels of encounters and scuffles. We split into smaller groups and scuffled, did some cool things to kind of get out of a hairy situation. And at this point, we have a handful of children with us. For some reason, we do not know the exact count, somewhere between 5 and 7, maybe as low as 3. But
we'll say that there's 7. That just
all right.
Let's go for maximum effort.
We got 7 little runts. There are a handful of guards and mercenaries still at the keep, and we are traveling now with the intention of going towards the mayor and getting to return the mayor's child. So we are en route that direction with the intention of returning the child. And we don't really have a plan yet. We're going to use the time on the travels to share lore, understand perspectives, build a plan, and hopefully by the time we get there, we'll be able to execute the plan.
Sounds good. So yeah, how are you guys gonna get into Ashburg with these kids? What are your goals, and how do you expect to accomplish them?
I have a goal of not introducing the children into harm's way anymore, and it would be to drop one or more of them off as quickly as possible to some place that's likely have a little bit of defense. The mayor's house, or that palisade identified on the map as location number 2, if we think it's secured by city people rather than Nilfgaardians.
It's probably safe to assume that if there's going to be an inspection of troops, that it'll take place in the keep number 2.
Okay, so if we can get to 8 without going through town, like take the forest direct route there in some way, I think we should do that. That's my opinion. Drop off the kids, then figure out the rest. We figure out the rest now, but
Can you
deal with
orient
the
me on the
rest.
map real fast? So relative to
eight.
the keep, what direction are we coming from? Are we coming from the
You're
east
gonna
traveling
be-
west?
Yes, east going west. You guys can either come from the north entrance or the south entrance.
Okay.
I mean, if you really, really, really want to hang on to this guy, if you really wanted to try, you could probably like go around and come from the north. It wouldn't be too difficult.
I don't see the advantage there. So I think we as a group discussed that, and I weigh out that I don't think there's an advantage of trying to sneak that direction. If we're trying to go to visit the mayor, I think we need to, before we get to the mayor's place, understand and stash maybe the kids in the forest. I think we should probably have some discussion with them and make it a game so that they stick together and understand that we're coming back for them.
Let's see.
Sounds
I
good.
think the mayor met Kevin and I and Dustin. And so hopefully this is like an off camera, gets resolved in 2 minutes kind of situation, but Kevin and I can walk up to the mayors and say, hey, what's the situation here? And if it's safe to stash the kids, figure that out quickly and signal to Ford in some way, like have one of Ford's drones follow us while Ford stays with the kids. And we can signal him, hey, bring them up, and then resolve that hopefully quickly and move on.
Well, as soon as Ford comes back, you share that with him.
Yeah.
I know you guys are down a scout, so be interesting how you approach this.
Well, I mean, that's why I'm proud. That's why my approach doesn't suggest anything about scouting. Just walk up to the front door of the mayor's office, hopefully from that northeast side.
Okay. Yeah, I'd love to make that happen for you. I really want Ford included in the plan.
No problem.
So Henrik, let's talk a little bit about the mayor has one child that they're looking to replace. We've got 7 of these rat bastards. So
Yeah.
let's think about how we, I don't know, is there any check we can do to kind of understand a little bit more from the kids, if any of them are related? You know, are
Do we have brothers, sisters, twins, siblings? How many
I don't.
families?
They've all been taken pretty well care of. They haven't been mistreated anyway. And there's one that's whose clothes is obviously a bit finer than the others.
Yeah, ask the mayor's kid to pretend he's in charge.
But you know, it's a small town, and the mayor's son grew up with these other people, so they don't seem like they're afraid or standoffish. Like they gel pretty well. But yeah, you can identify one as more than probably being the mayor's son. Is there anything you want to ask them specifically?
Any kids missing?
No. Not to their knowledge. Like they've all been brought at different days, different times. They were all put together in the keep, and they were put in that cell down in the basement where you found them. But they were all fed well.
So many people
Who's been there the longest?
They're like, oh my gosh, I was gonna say
How
people.
long has the longest?
Okay.
A version of what's the longest someone's been there.
So yeah, this has been spread out over a
The
couple
permit's not
weeks.
even active right now.
No longer than a month.
There, I got it. I got the audio. No longer than a month. All right, but someone's been there almost a month is my take. So this has
Yes.
been going on for some time. And then the mayor's kid's the most recent one to be taken. And how many distinct families are involved at this point? We got 7 kids from 7 families, or we got some siblings here?
Yeah, we'll say that there's a pair of siblings.
all right? So I'm reading that not to matter that much.
Yeah. So again, my take is we leave them all at the mayor's house, to be clear, in the hopes that the mayor's got a guard or 2.
Ford got
Ford,
muted.
You're muted, Ford. I think. Can I unmute him myself?
His
We don't
face
want
was
you
like,
here.
why did you
We
mute
don't want
me?
your kind, Ford. Keep your mouth shut, boy.
Oh,
No, that's not what we're doing here.
I'm pressing the button that says ask to unmute, but I can't do anything more than that. I could mute him, but I can't unmute him.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I wasn't talking to you. That's why I was letting this thing mute.
So yeah, so basically, just to catch you up, they got all the kids. We're trying to figure out how to come into the town, and like you had heard earlier, Henrik's trying to keep the kids safe.
Dreamy wouldn't.
Yeah, like I'm pretty much seething in the background here about this whole kid situation. And in as much as I guess I agreed to let those people run, I'm very overtly thinking about running them down after this.
Fair enough. Plus, they had some really cool magic loot that you guys didn't.
I'm not sure that we didn't take it from them when they surrendered. We kind of didn't talk over those details, but we can skip that.
So Ford, are you privy to what our plan is and where we're coming from?
I'm aware of when we went in, we got the kids from the keep. It looks
Okay.
like we must have went back down to town.
Yeah, you're on the outskirts of the town. You're gonna approach from the northeast and try to make it to the mayor's mansion, which is building number 8 here, and stash the kids.
All right, so we're talking through how we're going to get the kids back to where they belong. We have identified that one appears better dressed than the rest of them. There are 7 total. So one, we're making the assumption, is the mayor's son.
If you ask him, he'll identify. Yeah,
Hey Sam, are you the mayor's son?
on Colin.
Sam can't hear you, but I don't believe he thinks he's the mayor's son. Are you the mayor's son? No.
Okay.
Oh,
I think I can take care of that.
the mayor of the town that we're dealing with.
All right.
Young Lord Lemus.
In character, I guess I'm gonna go ahead and suggest it.
We avoided
My,
fighting.
my dear lads, we're trying to sneak into town. What if I use my drones to make it appears a small carriage? It just seems as one coming in, and we should all be able to go ahead and with no one the wiser about the children.
So just as a DM, I'll tell you that that would work. Like if you want to create an image of a carriage, until someone stops to try to inspect what's inside, and then they're like, "Hey, why are you walking around with this big illusion going on?"
I mean, who just randomly questions a carriage rolling through?
It's a war-torn town, man. They're going to question everything.
All right, fair enough.
And one of the things that you guys picked up is through your adventures through this town, even though you actively tried to keep a low profile, there is a huge state of unrest. You're not 100% sure what it's all about. You obviously know that people are on edge because their kids have been turning up missing. But it seemed like there might have been a little bit more, but you guys didn't actually want to investigate into that. So that's a thing.
Okay, so
There's
war-torn town. Children's been being kidnapped. Nobody know where the kids are. And we're trying to discreetly get kids to the mayor's house without everyone knowing we found their kids. Why?
We're
'Cause-
concerned.
And that's
Go
a
ahead.
viable question.
Yeah. So we were talking about this as we were going through. You must have just been spacing out while we were walking towards here. But we're concerned. We don't know who's in control, and we're concerned that bringing a group of kids in here might notify the wrong party, and so it would just inspire conflict between.
main character is you don't remember half the guards firing arrows at us. Maybe more than half of the guards that are with the Inquisitor are going to fire arrows at us. Let's not give them a reason to do that.
So Henrik is viably suspecting a crossfire situation by bringing the kids as evidence. Ford also viably understands that the kids were requested as evidence to turn this whole scenario in favor of the Inquisitor.
I don't remember.
And he
I
has
didn't
a
remember
reason
that at
for it.
all.
All you know is that was what he wanted you to do.
He wanted us to show up with the kids, and I spaced on that entirely.
And I'm not, and I don't want to take, because you bring up a very good point, and I think it's definitely worth considering. Ford also has a very good point, and it's really just up to you how you guys want to make it happen.
Okay, so we know they have out of character on some organic level. We know that they know the symbol of the Inquisitor.
Yes.
They at least respect that much to the point where they've come from their keep to meet. Inquisitor sent us there to try to discreetly get it. So, again, concept of carriage. Because again, I can't like disguise every last shot. I only got like three drones here. Carriages with the symbol on it or some type of, I'm not sure how far gone they up because I'm like, obviously can't roll up through a tent with a tank or anything or some full armored thing, but maybe a simple carriage or I was gonna say that with a symbol on it, but matter of fact, what happened to our actual carriage?
The Inquisitor took it into town.
Does the mayor have a carriage? Hey kid, does your mom got a carriage?
Yeah, at her mansion.
All right, there we got a carriage.
You got to get to the mansion. You still got to get into town. And again, like I don't think that it's a. Give me a magical knowledge check, like some kind of. Give me a lore or one of your concept skills that are magic related.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna know inside. I'm not gonna know anything about their carriage or how it looks.
Yeah,
if
Ford
there's
has
some type
never
of-
been to this town.
So I'm not gonna know that. Best I got is the symbol and more trash talking. I can carry that.
Yeah, I say we take the kids there and get mom's carriage and then go wherever we're gonna go in that.
So if that's the case, we could probably hide the kids somewhere nearby versus carrying them all in town. Then,
Sure.
I saw it. I saw it.
all right. So
Yeah, just please like make that magic check for me, just real quick, because I don't.
that was him, right?
You,
Me? Oh, okay. That
you're our resident illusionist. Unless, oh, Kevin, you can absolutely do it too if you want to.
my bad. I didn't think you were talking about that. I thought we were still trying to discuss how we were gonna do it.
Well, I have a lore of 8, but I don't think that's what you're asking, right?
You could use your concept skill as a mage to make this check.
All right.
The concept skill is basically like a catch-all for, like in D&D terms, it would be your class. Like as a
Alright,
mage, you
so-
know all kinds of different stuff. Or
D12, right?
yes,
All right. So
Kevin, you can roll it too.
I'm pulling up my dice right now.
Ah,
So how do I roll this against mine if it's just under my number?
if it
Or-
meets or is low, if it is equal to or less than your skill, then it's a success. If it's half of your skill, equal to or less than half your skill, it's a critical success.
I rolled a 2.
So you've definitely got a crit because your skill's what, an 8
I think
10?
it's 5. Well, my
for mage?
5. I didn't upgrade.
Okay, well that's still a crit because half of 5 is
He must be one of
2.5.
those like sorcerer kind of mages.
Yeah, I was like, my
the
mage is
country
a
was.
10.
He's a hedge wizard.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
researcher 10 and mage 10, so I got an 8, so it's still under.
So yeah, between the two of you, and I want to do this because I didn't want to pull any surprise on you. The idea of disguising your walking group as a carriage will look good at a distance and probably quickly fail upon closer inspection. Like just coming up to say, hey, how you guys doing? All right, yeah, that's not a carriage. What's going on here? Just letting you know that. So
Okay.
there are going to be limits to trying to disguise your walking party of drones, children, and yourselves as a moving carriage. That's it. So how
What
you
if
guys want to plan
we-
to infiltrate the town?
What if we just leave someone back with the kids and use 2 of the drones to put up a set of trees or shrubbery to hide them in the distance while we go in and try to get an actual carriage?
Okay.
I think Henrik and I have been here before, so we'll go in. You'll hang out by the bridge area.
That works for me.
Tail us with a
Uh,
drone so we can
So
just
do you
have a
want to
signal.
you want to run this as like a skill challenge to infiltrate into the town? Basically, whoever stays with the kids is gonna get a freebie and not need to make any checks because you're just hanging back with the kids. And then the other two
I'll stay
would be
back with
about
the kids. I'll send them with one drone. Also as a precaution.
what kind of instructions are you gonna leave with your drone? Because without you there to guide it, it's gonna be very limited in what it can do.
Let me.
And it could be done. You could just say, hey, attack anything that doesn't use this password. And then you just be down like 2 drones because you're leaving them with the kids.
Oh, I'm staying back with the kids. I was sending one with them.
Ah,
I was more of looking at it with the passive arcane side because I was like, hey, I might not be able to see that crazy, but I at least know what's going on. But at the same time,
yeah, we could do that.
Okay. Yeah, that way, in case something happens, at least I'm informed.
That sounds good.
I'm trying to look. Well, no, because I was thinking that, but then you were stating that arcane sight couldn't really work with
They just can't
drone.
detect magical auras like they can't get the same information that you can get with the arcane sight. Like they can't relay that because they're machines.
But
But
I'd
you
at
could
least get
definitely
an
see
image.
through. Yeah, you could get some
Okay.
kind of audio or a video relay,
Okay,
something
yeah.
in a very, again, this is a medieval setting and you have vastly superior technology. So whatever that looks like, it can be done.
Okay. I'm perfectly fine with sending one with them and then arcane sight just to kind of have
A presence.
update of auto presence that way. Then that way I'm hiding out with the other 2 drones, setting up the I'll have the other 2 pretty much using sorry.
So I'll just let you guys know. So scouting the area coming into that through that northeast gate, there is going to be a guard posted at that bridge, and it's going to be a Nilfgaardian guard. Nilfgaardian guard, yeah.
That's fine.
So again, like if you want to do some kind of skill challenge, like just tell me how you want to get through this to get to the mayor's house.
Gonna look imposing. I'm gonna point to my Witcher symbol on my chest and I'm gonna walk by his ass.
So you're gonna use kind of like an intimidate if it comes into that. Not a intimidate, but more like command.
Yeah, that would be my approach. What do you think, Kevin?
This is the act like you belong scenario
Yeah,
that we just
I've
you
been
know,
here. We're working with the mayor.
do
Don't
a
get in my
quick
way.
nod at the Nilfgaardian, so acknowledge his presence. Don't
Yeah.
slow down, just keep going.
Yep.
Kevin, are you gonna add to the scene in any way
No,
through illusions?
no, I don't want to call any extra attention. I want this to just be as normal as possible. We're just walking through. This is no different than anything that happens.
So like one of the things that you might do is like with the illusion magic, you could make his drone look like something else. Because if anybody else saw it, they would be very, very alarmed, especially if they had never encountered anything like that at all. So maybe an illusion to disguise it as a crow or I don't know, anything like that.
All right.
You could do a potency check to try to pull that off. That's just a suggestion. If you want to do something else, like please feel free.
Yeah, I mean, I was approaching it like the drone was just a normal thing that existed in the world, and there just weren't very many of them. But it wasn't going
No,
to be
it
so
doesn't.
abnormal.
It doesn't exist at all in this world until Ford brought it here from where he's from.
All right, fair enough. All right, then.
And it's new to you too. You've never seen anything like it either with the world that you're from.
All right. Yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is make it use a obscuring mist to not necessarily put anything that's down near us, but more kind of what appears at a distance to be a cloud But just so that it's out of line of sight from the Nilfgaardian guard, not so that it really obscures the view.
That's great. So what we're gonna do is, Henrik, you're gonna give me a command check. I
Okay.
believe you have intimidate or the intimidating presence.
I do. I'm
So
gonna
we'll give you advantage with that. So you're gonna subtract 2 from your roll.
I'm gonna
Kevin, give me a
dress it up.
potency check to bring the cloud into effect, and
Mhm.
Ford, you give me a potency check to make sure that you can maneuver naturally within that cloud and still keep pace with them, but out of sight within the cloud. And we'll just call that our skill challenge for getting in.
All right. I'm gonna dress it up.
0 counts as a 10. I assume.
So, and first, before we, so I think your skills a 10. What are some things that could go wrong if you fail your checks? Like what's at stake here?
If my check fails, then my obscuring mist doesn't really do a good job of blocking the line of sight from the guard. And
I mean more about like the overall infiltration. Like what's at stake here for you guys? Do you think?
What I was thinking is that instead of disguising this drone from the guard, it would call attention to the guard, and it would startle and cause a reaction from him.
Okay.
And by proxy, if it goes really wrong, then Ford doesn't really get any use out of his drone when we're there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess one of the stakes is that he has a crossbow and he knee-jerk shoots the damn thing. I think my approach is generally like violence is always an option, or it's an undesired outcome that's always at stake because that's just because I'm rough around the edges. But I think the greater stakes are is depending on how badly it goes, that he raises some alarm and draws some more attention to the situation. Because our goal really is to get in there without him raising the alarm to more people. And so even violence isn't that bad, so long as we can take him out relatively quickly and quietly without adding more people.
That sounds good.
To the
So let's
scene.
go ahead and make our checks.
I'm gonna dress this up with the Oni horn, like I'm gonna carry it over my shoulder kind of thing. And I'm going to say that I've healed myself using my abilities, so I've got a wound, and I'm gonna play that up as in we've been through some shit. Like leave the crusty blood on out and on, in the sense of just dressing up the whole intimidation factor a little bit.
Got it.
I'm gonna go ahead and roll it then. Make this over. Oh snap! I like it. That's a 1.
Like it. Kevin, what you got?
Rolled a 3, and I've got a 10 on potency, so
I like it
kicking
even
ass.
more. Ford, what you got?
I got a 3 out of the 10 on potency.
That's awesome. So yeah, you guys come into this town. Henrik, you look battered, bloody, but like in a really strong, sexy way that nobody wants to really question you too much. You guys come up to the gate. He sees your medallion. You kind of nod at him. He's like, "Oh, wide berth. Like all respect to the Witcher. You know, you're looking really badass coming in off the trail, all road worn." Yeah, you guys make it to the mayor's house, no problem. Like everything that you expected to happen, it happened and then some. Like you're actually able to make time on it.
For me, it was like a movie trailer, right? Where the obscuring mist is actually the background, and we like appear through the mist, and parts of it have turned red from the blood that we're still dripping off of various parts and stuff. But yeah, there you go.
Yeah, if this guard had ever seen a movie before, he definitely would have known that this was a scene from like his favorite movie. He's giving you all the respect. As a matter of fact, like just you guys walk past him relatively unchallenged. Like he nods at you, you nod at him, and you see another guard off in the distance. He sees that interaction. He's like, "Okay, business is normal," and then just walks off in the other direction. So you guys have straight shot to the mayor.
All right.
What you doing now?
Not even knock knock, but go in.
Okay.
Just own the place. We're in the doors.
Yeah, we're reporting back, and I'm gonna have my heightened senses on, in the sense of trying to figure out whether I smell our former compatriots, the guards in the house, and just trying to keep an ear out.
You
for
don't
how
even
many other
need to.
people.
So as you walk up to the front gate,
Mhm.
one of those guards, they greet you with a nice warm welcome. Well
Mhm.
met. Glad you guys have made
Yeah.
it. if you have any word, just hold on to it and let me bring you to her ladyship. And
I'm-
she brings you into the courtyard of.
I'm trying to get a word before he even leaves.
Sure.
I'm just like, are the Nilfgaardians here?
Yeah, they're all over,
No,
over the town.
In the house, in the mayor's
No.
area.
No, and that's what he's trying to motion you. He's like, save
Okay.
your report until we can get indoors. And then he escorts you into the chamber. The lady's sitting there and the other guards with you. And he waves at you and nods and
Mhm.
and he like nudges the mayor. And it's like, your ladyship, the adventurers we hired are here. They're good seed. Their sign, I hope, is tidings of good fortune.
Did these guys see? No, they didn't see the dragon, did they?
They did not see the dragon.
Did they see the troll?
Yeah, they were there for the troll fight.
They
They
were
got
there
a
for the
couple shots off.
troll, and they were there for the Oni too. Okay.
Yeah, for the big ogre. Yeah.
So I'm gonna take the big old Oni horn and lean it up against the wall, like a visible reminder we did some work together. Who's good with words? I vote Kevin.
So we're with the mayor, lady. We're with the mayor right now.
Mhm.
You're with the mayor.
Yeah. So I wanna just flat out say I think we got your son, and there's others. We want to help return them, and we know that you might know more of them. What's the best way to go around and go about this?
We want to keep them safe, and we know there's more Nilfgaardians in town than there ever have been, and they may not appreciate knowing the children are here.
So yeah, she gives you all the appropriate platitudes, a sigh of relief, thank God, few tears, but she quickly composes herself and she's like, when my men came with the Inquisitor, they filled me in on the plan, and he is currently having patrols come by. They're doing an inspection of the troops and getting a sit rep at the keep, which is building number 2 on your map. There are still loose patrols that are going about. Tensions have never been higher. Knowing that you have all the children is going to be a huge relief. And with you here, maybe we could actually take back our town.
Has the Inquisitor shared anything about what his plan is in terms of dealing with this situation?
I honestly can't say that I understand much of how these Nilfgaardians work. The guards seem to treat the Inquisitor with a great deal of reverence and respect. From what I know, and if you guys want to give me a lore check, this would also be good. Ford, you can give me a lore check if you want to break, I guess, radio silence and talk through your drone with your illusion magic. I would let you do that, but if you you're definitely picking this up, and if you want to try to check, you'll have access to
So
this.
these
information
guards
as well.
don't know that we've made more friends.
In what way?
So these guards know that we picked up TJ's character.
Yes, and Ford.
And Ford, they were there for Ford as well?
Yeah. They
Okay.
came back with the Inquisitor, and
Okay.
that's how you met Ford. He was traveling.
Right.
with the Inquisitor.
Okay, so we'll just like the guards can attest. We have another friend who has an interesting way of getting about. He's in the woods right now with the children. Do we have a safe way to get them here? We had to go by almost 2 different Nilfgaardian soldiers on the way to your home from the Northeast Passage.
So go ahead and make those checks.
Okay.
A lore check of some
Who wants
sort.
to do
or another.
lore?
I'll do a lore check real fast.
I mean, it will be lore, but yeah.
All right.
And Ford, you're welcome to make a lore check too, because you spent enough time with the Inquisitor inside of the Nilfgaardian Empire. You understand how things work and how things go. So if you want to make that check too, you're welcome.
I definitely want the outcome of the checks, but
6 out of 7.
You got a 6 out of 7. Okay.
my dumb
That's a pass.
suggestion is the mayor goes on a pleasure ride for an hour with her carriage out and comes back with the kids unknown to everybody else and Ford's character. And from there, we figure out what we do next.
Okay. Well, and before we get to that, let's go ahead and get that check.
I rolled an 8 out of 8.
That's still a pass.
Do you want one from me too? 'Cause I don't need
Yeah,
to
if you want
add
to.
anything. No, I'm good.
Okay,
They did their thing. I'm not about lore right
Your
now. I'm all about like
strategic
getting
planning.
shit done.
Gotcha.
Like, I
So
want the
F-
kids safe.
Ford
I
is-
don't care about anything else.
Ford especially, and Kevin, from what you remember from the life that you've kind of hijacked since you've been here, from what you've heard, they look at their emperor as almost like a deity, almost like a deity.
Emperor?
It's their empire is
Oh,
also
empire.
very closely tied to their state religion, and basically, the higher up you are in rank, the more obvious clout that you have. So I don't know what I'm trying to do with that.
So the Inquisitor has a lot of clout.
Yes, the people, as soon as the Inquisitor showed up, the Nilfgaardians were in obvious reverence and awe towards him and deference to his position.
Does that include in any way the captain or whoever it is that was actually in charge of the barricade? And do we have any way of knowing that?
Captain of the barricade?
The
Which
captain
one
of
are you
the,
talking about?
whoever, the shiny man that we think is the bad guy that's
Lord
not.
Nowak. Okay, you guys didn't do any kind of investigation onto him and his character.
No, we did not.
From what you gained from the conversation with the Inquisitor, you do know that the Inquisitor is very, very upset at his actions and the fact that what he has done to maintain control in the area may end up starting a civil revolt. And that is what the Inquisitor is here to ensure doesn't happen.
All right, so the children are the Inquisitor's evidence that Nilwak has been acting inappropriately, and that's why he needs the children to show up.
Correct. And from running into the guards at the barracks that's outside of town, you guys have found out that like upon presentation of a symbol of authority, there was one guard that was just automatically like, hey, okay, yeah, I surrender. Like I'm, all hail Nilfgaard. Like, what's up? And the other guys were reluctant, but they were still under command of those mercenaries who do not share their same fervor and continue their attack. Well, as soon as the mercenary captain at the keep called off the attack, they immediately like took a very neutral posture, probably offered a word of apology, like, hey, it's just orders. Sorry about that. Like, we didn't realize that you were coming on authority. So that's the kind of the idea you get as far as the loyalty situation among the guards.
So
It could go 50-50 either way. You don't know.
right. So best case scenario, half the guards side with Lord Nilwak, and we've got a giant melee when we show up with the kids near the Inquisitor, which still doesn't make me feel good. And I'm saying this stuff out loud, like in front of the mayor, in front of the guards.
And the mayor's going to suggest, like, while we have them all on the keep, we could just attack them and take back our town. And with you leading the charge, I think that we have a decent odds.
But
We didn't. I'm going to say to the mayor that we really didn't see heavy armament on the guards that we saw. Is there any idea what they're equipped with? Like what do these Nilfgaardians have?
I mean, they have heavy armor, swords, and bows.
Yeah, they're gonna pin cushion half your people. Like running in.
But they're all up at the keep. I mean, not all of them, but the majority of their forces are in the keep. If there's a way we could hold them up in the keep and burn the keep down on their heads, I don't know. Like that would be more towards your inkling of, or your forte and strategy. And that all comes from the mayor. One of the guards that was with you, he looks kind of hesitant. The other guard's like, yeah, let's do it. Let's get him.
Like,
Take our town back.
Not a military strategist. I deal with monsters. And as much as this Lord Nilwak is acting like one, you have an opportunity here through the Inquisitor to avoid more deaths of more people for your town.
Or do you have something?
Partially, just what you said made me think of something. So I'll go through the drum. My dear, that idea, I think I may have something for that.
Okay, and as soon as you start speaking, you get a couple words out, and she's like, oh, "What the hell? Like, what is this?"
We
And
made
like,
more
it
friends.
goes from shock to fear to an inquisitive, like, what is going on here? And because of the introduction that Henrik gave you earlier, like obviously you're not getting in there with your drone. But yeah, so as soon as you start speaking, and I hate to interrupt you, but that was just the knee-jerk reaction of the room. And now that they've taken a minute to kind of calm and collect and see what's going on, the fact that Henrik and Kevin aren't reacting poorly to
Yeah,
you,
we're like,
now they're ready to listen to you. And I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to
No,
throw
no,
that
you're
little
fine.
scene setter.
That actually just indulges me more with it. I
Yeah,
like
Ford
it.
just talks right through it. It's like phew, whatever, peons.
No,
Anyway,
no, not
as I
that. I'm
was
saying it
saying.
actually like builds up more of the scene visually. It's like, that's like I'm sorry, Mayor. Have you as you were, now that you've seen them come down, I didn't quite mean to startle you. Um, but one of you seemed to mention holding them up in the keep. I believe we may have a local dragon that you've had visit. I was like in the area that we've come across that may just happen to make a visit. That alone may not, I was like, maybe enough to keep them hold up, but also be more tangible. I was like, more believable than a
Plausible.
random attack, seeing as it's a local, I was like, a local issue that you may already be aware of.
So she mentions that she has heard reports of an unusually large dragon flying about the area. It seems to be avoiding the town, and she hasn't been able to confirm it. But when you say that, like, she definitely like, huh? So I guess this is confirmation. There is a dragon. Like, you can tell that their gears working. Like, this presents as an opportunity. It presents as a huge freaking danger. She's got that political, the wheels are spinning. How can I spin
yeah,
this to my advantage? She hears what you say. She doesn't disagree. It looks like she's considering that being a viable possibility. But then also, there's a dragon in my backyard. What the heck am I going to do about this? So she considers your words very carefully, but she doesn't quite bring herself to comment on them. She's more leaving it open to you to continue with the plan or offer something else that she might chime in
well,
on.
the dragon is a good reason to not burn down the, whatever you want to call that.
Well, I think Ford's trying to say that you
Yeah.
could blame it on the dragon.
Not it, you could go one of two ways. You could or I was like, well, one would lead into a possible two, but one would be enough to at least dictate movement. So one, it's known. They've received reports, it's known localized. So if all of a sudden the shapes or the figure of a dragon were to appear, would be enough to keep you're gonna run for cover and would keep them in the keep, even if it's the sounds and then one just presenting an image. Two, yeah, if you were to try to burn it down, then yeah, there was a dragon flying by, so maybe that's what happened.
I think that the fact that we have a real dragon in the area means you probably don't want to burn down your one defensible position.
True.
But
It could be enough to keep them holed up while we are moving everybody.
I'm also thinking that depending on how this all initially plays out, if it's going badly, the dragon itself is a good distraction, right? If we wanted to try the diplomatic approach and show up and back up the Inquisitor, and for some reasons things go sideways, that would be a good time to introduce the dragon in order to take the tension off of us all over again and the kids.
Now, based off location, another option would be Lady of the Lake.
I'm all ears.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay. please follow up with that. Don't let that be the end of this conversation.
It's like his book
I
of
was
cons.
partially thinking Loch Ness Monster, but I mean, Lady of the Lake supposedly was one of the people holding the King Arthur's sword. I was like one of the protection for the sword. One of the
So you know
swords
that
behind
that legend isn't applicable in this world, right?
it. Mm.
Well, he might be metagaming here in terms of like, hey, here's a move we could pull.
Oh,
based
okay.
off
I'm
of-
sorry.
Off,
I
based
just
off
wanted.
of that story.
Okay, go
Right,
ahead.
I was gonna say like either that or like a Loch Ness monster could have a creature that would cause attack, but seeing as 8 is where the mayor's is,
So along the lines of like pulling in other things, if we really want to twist Lord Nilwack's
Norwalk,
Norwalk, I call him Nilwack, maybe an
Nilfgaard,
image,
Norwalk of Nilfgaard. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a mouthful.
an image of the rock troll would be interesting. Like, hey, we heard it straight from this guy. Blam. Right.
wait, we could actually just have that as come in. One to
So
create the
just
image,
to
one for
remind
editing.
you,
Mhm.
the Inquisitor was actually there to meet the rock troll and get all of that information firsthand. He
Yeah.
needed substantial evidence to prove and move against Lord Norwalk, which you have in the bushes outside of town. Just to catch you up.
I'm just thinking that, if he doesn't break and run at some point in this conversation, we can pile it on, right? We can pile on images of the rock troll. We can give him lots of opportunities and excuses to go like, oh, now's a good chance to disappear. And then we can go after him if that's what we really need to do. But at least keep him off the kids with those same things. Does that make sense?
Somebody make the world turn.
I still like the one that's showing up on my die, and I don't really want to roll it. Anybody else want to
I'll
go
roll
for
it.
Oh, not the DM.
I just rolled
I
a
rolled the
7.
world turn. The world turn is a off-screen tension dial. It's actually okay. I rolled a 3. You're good. I will say though that you guys got through by the guard just fine. He saw that you came here. If you stay here for too much longer, there's probably going to be a report that goes to the keep. It's like, hey, the Witcher's back in town. Just saying, like, you're not a low profile person. You did not take a low profile approach.
No.
Just to let you know, and because of your critical checks, like, you got time, but not all the time.
So,
I just want to put
is
that
the
out
gist
there.
is the gist of things we're gonna go to the barracks and show up and bring some or all the kids? Are we all
So-
on the same page about that? Is that the thing we're doing, or is that not the thing we're doing?
As a matter of just DM housekeeping, I don't want to take any player agency away from any of you guys. There are multiple ways that this can go, and all of them are dependent on your actions and choices.
I'm
So
asking
you
my
tell me what
compatriots
you want
here.
to happen, and we will make it happen.
I'm asking Kevin and Ford, like, what are we gonna do? We're gonna get the kids now, go to the barracks, back up the Inquisitor, or are we going to grab the kids, stash them, and attack as a part of the townspeople? Because that's been thrown out there as an option. I can't say that.
The mayor is, the mayor's plan, whether you take it or leave it, and she will not act without you because you guys are the big bad adventurers. She wants to attack the Inquisitor and the governor together and drive out all presence of Nilfgaard from Ashburg.
So
But I'm working with the Inquisitor.
Yeah, Ford probably has a little bit of a moral dilemma against that because the Inquisitor's been very, very friendly and helped him with his research ever since he appeared here.
Without saying it to her, between us, it's not my problem. We got the kids, we got places to go, right? Like, we solved most of this. And if the Inquisitor is left in charge, I'm confident it's a lot better than if Lord Nilwack's left in charge.
And I'll
So-
definitely throw that out as a piece of information. One of the major things from this reward that you were looking for is a way to get past Nilfgaardian patrols. If you side with the Inquisitor,
we might have
he
another
could
way to get the same
basically
thing.
make that happen. Like, hey, I'll give you guys an escort to where you're going. Like,
Yeah.
so that won't be an issue if you won't have to worry about dodging the patrols from here to Lockwood.
Yeah.
Just to throw that out there.
It might be a secondary benefit. Mostly I just wanna,
The mayor's primary motivation, she wants her town back to normal, which means no more Nilfgaard. Does anybody want to give an insight check or something?
I will definitely do insight because I'm staring hard at the mayor trying to figure out whether she's going to turn this on us. I'm having a feeling of like Witcher's getting used to other ends that have nothing to do with like our primary purpose. And potentially about to get ticked off about it. So that's what I'm trying to insight, if anything, with my 8 on 8.
Read on it. Okay, so from what you've seen in the area, like this is firmly within Nilfgaard territory. The war effort has come and gone, swept over this town.
It's gonna get
If they
taken, yeah.
drive off Nilfgaardian forces, more Nilfgaardian forces are going to come and manhandle this village.
Yeah, there's gonna be
So
consequences.
you don't think that getting rid of both factions is a good idea right now? Yes, the mayor absolutely wants to use you in this assault, not because she wants to use you, but because you guys have proven yourselves capable. She's basically showing a great measure of trust in your abilities to handle yourself, and she would not act without you. But that is definitely her motivation and where she wants to go with that. I'm looking in the chat because I saw I missed some messages from
Ford's
Ford.
posting some stuff. Kevin, do you have
Okay.
any like motivation to share any of this long-term thinking kind of stuff with the mayor? Because I'm
Yes.
Oh, I was saying they can run, and I just put a link to my stat sheet and my spells. All they really need is page 1 and 2, but I gotta kill off a little bit early.
Well, let's go ahead and make some choices so we can get as much done as
Yeah.
possible.
I'm still with it. Let's avoid unnecessary bloodshed. I mean, I don't mind if this Lord Norwalk gets it, but if the
Yeah, I think
Inquisitor is going to
what-
try right wrongs.
what I want to be able to do is use my charm a little bit and a little bit of my beguile to help bring the attention of the mayor to family. And you know, we've got your son.
I mean,
And so,
insight check, please.
right, you got to find my tab that has my roly.
A quick question, DM.
Yeah.
Invisibility is a special accent, and they disappear until they take an aggressive action.
Correct.
I realize it's a self-based spell. Would I be able to apply that to others?
If you did if you basically, yes, the answer is yes. There will be complications of it, but yes. You need to make your potency check at a disadvantage.
Okay.
And you could only do it to one other creature at a time. Because the minute you cast it on something else, it would take the new effect would take a place of the old one. But Kevin, insight check.
Yes, I rolled a 5 out of 6 on insight.
Okay, so you can tell from her demeanor and what you've heard of the mayor, she does not respond well to charm. As a politician, she is fully done with people trying to charm her to get their way. She's very much immune to that. However, as a politician, she's very receptive to people who use beguiling speech and clever ways of getting what they want. And if you wanted to use one of those two approaches, I would tell you that the beguile would be the way you would want to go, and you would have a disadvantage on your charm if you try to use that.
Okay, so yeah, I'm going to beguile and try and highlight the idea that the townspeople's morale is going to improve and increase if we can get them some assurances that their children are coming back, and use imagine the emotion you just felt with knowing your child is just up the way. And I think that's a smarter way for us to get the long-term solution of town back to normal. We can,
and that's a great point. Kind of as the mayor, kind of as the DM, I'll just speak as both of us. If the approach you're suggesting is parade the children back into town,
no, I'm not suggesting a parade.
This is from the mayor as well, so
yep.
You just kind of hear it up. If we paraded the children back in town triumphantly, that would certainly be an instant morale boost to the townsfolk. From that, we could take any approach that you want to go. I could put out feelers and say, hey, the kids are coming. This will be the sign. When the kids show up, it's on. That could be a thing. It will absolutely be a morale boost. The only downside of it is if the kids come in town, that is going to lead you almost directly to a confrontation with the Inquisitor, which you guys know, as a DM I'm speaking, you guys know that that's kind of one of the things that you want to happen. Maybe or maybe not. All right, back to you.
Yeah, so I'm not thinking we need to make a loud pronouncement, but I do think we need to start circulating that the kids have been found. Whether that's through rumor that gets the people kind of talking and excited, or through direct channel of let's send some of the housekeepers here out in normal routine and kind of whisper the word so that the townspeople can build up this excitement, and recognize the authority that comes back with things being back to normal.
Okay. And again, on that, I will let you know that if you tried to do something like that, absolutely could make that happen. With the morale and where it's been, any kind of excitement from the people without the guards being in on it would probably raise the scrutiny level of what's going on. Because like, why are you looking so happy all of a sudden? It'll make them suspicious. So just keep
Kevin,
that in mind.
Can we, so if there was an angle to play up, I think it would be the mayor could throw their backing behind the Inquisitor and have the people like show up as well as the kids in a sense of, and then sort of use that as leverage to establish a more positive rapport going forward, with the assumption being, Lord Norwalk is out.
Sure. All these things are
like there's an
possible.
angle to play that she can go political with Inquisitor and maybe get Nilfgaard. Maybe there's a possibility Nilfgaard will still be present, but mentally absent.
Under different management.
Yeah, well, absolutely has to be under different management. I might help ensure that's the case no matter what.
Yeah, I like this. I like this thinking. So I think I'm proposing a temporary indefinite alliance. So it's, let's instead of trying to take on Nilfgaard and the Inquisitor.
You want to try to convince her to not take that approach because she's very pro kill them all. Get my town back.
I'm trying to stop her from killing the Inquisitor.
Would you like to make a beguile check because that would be more effective?
Yeah, there's gonna be, and plus there's that long-term lashback, right? Like Nilfgaard's not gonna ignore a massacre here.
Yeah, 3 out of 7. So booyah, bitches.
But she could
Critically succeed. Okay, so she understands. She appreciates your reasoning. She really appreciates the fact that you said something without saying something. She looks at you very, very appraising gaze, like, yeah, I got to make a fine politician yourself. Like, I see the folly of my plan. God forgive, that was definitely the Adrian spirit in me, and the mother in me that wants revenge for what's happened to my child. But I see the wisdom in what you're saying, and I will follow your lead, whatever it might be.
So is it, so how
So the
about,
mayor is now complicit with you. Whatever you decide, the mayor's got your back. You guys have come through on evidence, come through on everything she's asked, and made appropriate checks, critically, in fact, to make her an ally. So she is a willing participant in your plans. So now you have that agent to use, the mayor and her influence.
so fodder of a plan here, right? Mayor gets in her carriage, takes a guard, picks up the kids, heads towards the barracks, does it slow enough so that Kevin and I are walking through town and we're given the word. Kids are back. Mayor's going to have them in the carriage. We need to share a show of force. Show up a few minutes after we walk through the front of the barracks with the mayor in her carriage.
Okay.
We want you guys out there showing your support, because we think we're going to make for a change of leadership here, and the relationship with the Nilfgaardians can be much more positive going forward.
Is this with or without the kids?
Well, I'm asking the mayor to show up in the carriage with the
with the
kids
kids. Okay, I just want
at
to
the
make sure.
barracks, right? And
Yeah.
so the signal for everyone to show up at the barracks is seeing the mayor's carriage head that way and show up like a minute later outside the barracks, not menacingly, but in force.
That sounds wonderful.
Is that a line, Kevin?
Yeah, I'm happy with that plan.
Let's just get Ford to check on that because he will be arriving in the carriage as well.
Yeah.
It'll
so
have to be a wagon at this point because
so I think
7
the
kids
a guard
plus
plus
Ford, 2
four.
drones, and the mayor plus the guard that drives the carriage. You're getting a wagon at that point.
Well, whatever the mayor's got. Kids will
Yeah.
cram. What do they care?
Stack them.
Obviously,
Like-
you've never crammed kids in a station wagon and taken
Like
them cross
cords
country.
of wood. Make them lie flat and tie them down.
That always works on my kids.
So what I want to do is I want to tell the mayor that I intend at some point, if we encounter some conflict, I'm going to try and use a mimic of the dragon's noise to call and screech to throw off the guards and see if we can't do that. And I want to let the mayor know that that's a plan of mine, that the dragon
Sure.
won't actually be here, but at some point I will likely try and use the noise of the dragon and the fear of the dragon.
Absolutely.
And that-
I kind of hate to do this. I think Ford's going to be leaving here pretty soon.
yeah.
What we could end up doing is just getting all the pieces in place and then pick back up with the next session
Okay.
to
fair.
I think that
carry
screech is
out-
also a good signal, right? If that happens, then
something's gone wrong.
Yep.
her ladyship needs to depart with the kids ASAP, right? And the people need to do whatever they think they need to do at that point. And hopefully we can tell the difference between whoever's on the Inquisitor side, and we're going to say ours, and Lord Norwalk's side.
Where would you have her ladyship depart to?
I mean, I think she knows better than we.
Yeah, that we don't want to know that.
All right, bring Ford up to speed and let's make this happen.
Oh, I heard that part about him wanting her to actually show up once they get to the barracks. I was like, it's a show of force.
All right. So what you missed was I want the mayor to know. I want her to know that if things go awry, I'm going to mimic the sound of the dragon, in the hopes to send a message to her that she needs to go to a safe place. We don't need to know where that
GTFO.
is, but take the kids, go and be safe. And our intention is to use that if things are going awry and help us understand where alliances and allegiances lie, as well as put some fear into those that are not aligned with us.
Take advantage of the computer. How much time do you have left, Ford?
About 15 minutes.
Okay, well then we'll go ahead and call it and we'll pick back up at that point. Because
Sorry.
Ford's no, that's fine, man. We kind of got off to a late start talking about mechanics and such and then catching everybody up, and then we got started late and it's late, so completely understandable.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks' time, you better bring your A game. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, no, I got you. I gotta cut it early tonight. I gotta get up early and a bunch of other stuff.
No, that's fine. I think we have a really good plan. You guys have notes of what's going on, so when we pick up next time,